Welcome to the Pathway. Today, Chad continued to take us through the book of Matthew as we looked at Matthew 27 and the interaction between Jesus and Pilate, and we talked about Barabbas, and Chad introduced us to a new word, right? Worship, which I always love when he creates words for us. And he talked about the difference between worship and worship. And as I listened to Chad, I want to take you on a journey into Ryan's brain today. I started to think that this dichotomy between worship and worship is really a tale as old as time, that I think back to Adam and Eve. And as you think of that story, like, don't you see those 3 steps of progression, that there's that moment where they question the king, right? Why am I not allowed to eat from this tree or taste of the fruit? And then there's this moment where they replace the king, where, Eve decides to eat the fruit, offers it to Adam. He eats it as well. They're thinking, we know better. And then you even see this moment where they wash their hands of the king, where both of them blame other people when God calls them out on this, that Eve blames the serpent and Adam blames Eve. So I started thinking through that, and then I started feeling next conviction, that I started thinking that, don't I do this all the time? Right? Even in the last week, I was thinking of moments where I was starting to question God and put myself on the throne in my life. And then the progression in my head went to, well, then why is asking why a bad thing? Like, doesn't Jesus talk about, we should have faith like a child? Like, over and over again in the New Testament, we're encouraged to have the faith of a child. And what I know of children, my own included, is they ask a whole lot of why questions. And as I started to think about that and ponder, as Chad spoke, it really dawned on me that it's not so much in the asking of the why that we run into issues. It's in the what we do with the why that creates problems. Because I thought of David, okay, in David's story. There's this moment where David is on the run from Saul, okay, which is much of the book of Psalms. And he escapes to Gath, the city of the Philistines, and he's there for a bit, and then he gets scared and he escapes to this cave, okay? And that's where we pick up here in Psalm 13. David's on the run, he's in this cave, and we're going to look at 3 verses that I think will help us think through what to do with our whys, that David's struggling here. He says, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever?" Okay, why are you not near me? Why are you not helping me? How long will you hide your face from me? That we see the why presented. Okay, and here's the moment where David does what I think we're called to do and what's the healthiest thing to do with our whys. Verse 3, it says, "Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Hear my cry, hear my why." And then listen to this, "Enlighten my eyes." Right, like, help me see what you might be doing in this. And then just 2 verses later, David arrives at, "But I have trusted you in your mercy. My heart shall rejoice in your salvation." And I don't know what's going on in your life right now, but as you think of the whys that maybe you're struggling with God in terms of the things you're facing, I encourage you to model what David did, to take those whys to God. And then in the end, we all might arrive at that moment where we just trust him and we rejoice in the fact that he's God and he knows what he's doing. Have a great week.